Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the Three Man Rush podcast. I'm your co host, Drew, back for this one, joined by Landon and Jared. To those of you that have made the choice to join us for the next hour or so to discuss the NFL's big game, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. While you're here, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, smashing the little bell that pops up to turn on notifications, and liking this video as well, we would really appreciate that. Also, make sure to comment down below as you listen to let us know what takes on the Super Bowl you agree with, disagree with, things we might have missed that you think could play a big key in it, things like that. We love to continue the conversation with you guys in the comments after the video has been posted, and that's a great way to do that. So here on the Three Man Rush podcast, to give you an idea of what you're going to get if you subscribe, we do upload 2 shows a week during the NFL regular season, and then 1 show each week during the NFL playoffs and the offseason. We cover the NFL itself and everything that goes along with that, fantasy football, DFS, the NFL draft, and we mix in some MLB and fantasy baseball as well, if they ever get to play baseball again. And so, if you guys can subscribe and hang with us, we appreciate it. But on today's show, as we said, and as the background shows, if you're watching on YouTube, we are covering none other than the Super Bowl. And I could not be more nervous but ready at the same time. But it does definitely feel good to be back on this show. Last week I had to miss, and you guys held it down, did a great job. I really enjoyed listening to that. And the hardest part was like sitting there and listening to you guys talk and wanting to interject and wanting to, respond to some of the things you guys said, not being able to do so. But it made for a great listen while I was working out the next day after you guys recorded. So how you guys doing?
Man, probably not as good as you. Yeah, we did the show last week without you. We didn't want to get too in depth into like the Rams and 49ers game because we wanted to get your reaction to everything, because I know you're probably sitting there in knots right now, just like like you're ready for it to be over with, but you're excited, but you're nervous. And it's something that we as Colts fans, we haven't felt in a long time, but we have felt it. We do know what you're going through. Of course, Titans fans listening to this, you don't know what it's like.
There it is. We're just a few minutes in.
Few minutes in.
Look, I had to. But yeah, man, like everything's going good. We're really excited. We have a big group of people coming over here, Jared included. And of course, you're always welcome if you feel like hopping out of the cave, coming over here. But yeah, we're having a big party here, doing some barbecue. That's been my main concern, is because the Colts aren't in it. So I like both of these teams.
What's the food gonna taste like? What's the drinks?
Exactly. Well, it's not necessarily that. So like I'm smoking a pork butt, probably gonna go about 14 hours on it. And then I'm also smoking some wings, and then like Emily's of course taking care of the sides and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I just have to somehow manage on like how drunk I'm going to get before people show up as opposed to after people show up, so I can make sure that the food isn't shitty, because I don't want to get like too.
That's a big time commitment. There's no coming back from that.
Well, like that's the thing too, is like, of course, like when you're barbecuing, like you're standing out there with the grill,
want to drink
there with a smoker. Yeah.
So
like, I'm going 14 hours on this, and it's just like, man, like every so often I'll pop out, take a sip, pop back out, take a sip. So I've got to pace myself, because I don't want to be, I don't want to be out, whenever kickoff starts.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's how we're doing. Everything's going good. What about you, Big Jared? Everything going all right with you?
Yeah, man, everything's really good. I'm ready for this game, like everyone else. Got a year older yesterday.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say, speaking of,
happy belated birthday, man.
Happy birthday to Big Jared.
Yeah.
Old man Holly.
Good week. It's a good week. It's always the saddest time of the year for me, because this is it after Sunday. There's no football, no like real football.
I know, man. I know.
Like, that's like, I'm excited for Drew.
I'm glad that you guys can be excited, because it is, I mean, I know once the game gets here, I'm going to be like blood pumping, excited. Let's go for kickoff. But like this has been like 2 of the longest weeks of my life waiting for this game to come on. And it's all anybody talks about on TV. It's all anybody's talking about on YouTube. Every time I pull up YouTube, it's just 10 videos, the first 10 things on my suggestions. And then I turn on ESPN, or I turn on Fox, or I turn on NFL Network, and it's just Super Bowl. And I'm like, man, my God, come on already. Like, I wish they'd spend a little bit more time talking about one of the most enjoyable wins I've watched as a Rams fan in quite some time, maybe the most enjoyable win other than them beating the Titans in the Super Bowl back in the 99-2000 season, whenever the Rams took down the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. I cannot tell you how fulfilling that was for me. From the last week of the regular season, whenever the Rams let them in the playoffs, and all you heard was 6-0. We're 6-0, 6 straight. Shanahan's McVay's daddy. Look at all the tickets we buy. We got so many fans. Look at us. And then that game comes. We let them in the playoffs, and then we set their asses packing. So all that, Shanahan's McVay's daddy, and we've won 6 straight, and blah blah blah. That y'all can suck my ass, because we're playing for a Super Bowl, okay? And even if we lose, that was still just such a satisfying dub to watch. And again, I was, even during that game, I was nervous out of my mind, because I knew if San Francisco pulls this off and they do win 7 in a row, and like the Rams let them into the playoffs and then in turn send them to the Super Bowl in the Rams stadium, like that's a nightmare. So now that, if there were any 49ers fans listening, now that they're likely gone, I could say, my God, Deebo Samuel is unreal. And almost beat the Rams like by himself, because Lord knows Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't going to do it. So the fact that what Debo, man, is just, he's out of this world. And it sucks for him that it was kind of funny seeing Odell go and console him after the game, like, hey, look, I know what it's like to play with a quarterback that's ruining your career. I get it, like, just, it's going to be okay. There's better days ahead. So but man, that game had me a nervous wreck. But at the end of it, dude, I don't know if I've ever been so happy about a Rams win, other than probably whenever they actually did win the Super Bowl. That one was a lot of fun for me. I'm just hoping that this one is. I'm hoping that this weekend
when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that whenever they beat the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
Yeah. That was by, that was easily the most, fun I've had as a Rams fan. But honestly,
it was also extremely fun for me. I'm not even a Rams fan.
Right.
Fantastic game.
But this NFC Championship game might have taken second place for me, though, just with all the noise that came prior to that game from from the media and 49ers fans and stuff like that, about all this shit, like that it somehow mattered that they were going to buy more tickets, and that they've won 6 straight regular season games, like that somehow mattered in any way for this game. It was so satisfying, man. I'm still just kind of, so I wish they'd spend more time talking about that, so I can just kind of forget about the Super Bowl for a little bit, because I'm a nervous wreck all over again, So, but
hey, some more like James Harden breaking news to take your mind off of the NFL for a minute.
Oh yeah,
it's the only time I've heard, like, anytime I turn on TV, it's always been like blah blah blah, Super Bowl, and then
the NFL is king.
Oh yeah,
it is. Yeah, and this is
the Harden thing kind of helped a little bit.
Yeah, the NFL honors was fun to watch. Aaron Donald should have won Defensive Player of the Year, and Tom Brady should have won MVP, but that's beyond, that's beside the point.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, obviously, because he also got MVP votes, right?
No, he didn't.
No, that was Cooper Kupp that got an MVP vote. Never mind.
Which is another, because anytime you can give a player with less yards and less touchdowns the awards, you got to do it.
Cooper Kupp, actually, fun fact, now has more career MVP votes than Russell Wilson.
That's insane.
You'll never hear that.
Yeah. little fun fact for you out there.
You'll never hear about how that he has 0 MVP votes.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, man, thought that was a pretty interesting little tidbit. I couldn't believe he got 1 vote. Honestly, I figured they would be completely split between Rodgers and Brady, but it was cool to see.
It was probably one of the. Yeah, it's probably the Rams beat writer. Whoever votes out in LA.
Yeah, it's a smart man.
Which I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad I did bring up the Jonathan Taylor thing, because I told Jared on the phone. I was on the phone with him earlier, and I was like, "Look, I'm gonna go off on the Colts real quick because this shit's pissing me off." So we do have a little bit of a rant. I'm so fucking sick of Colts players getting on Twitter and campaigning for fucking individual awards and talking about the Colts, we don't ever get respect, blah, 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 blah. You motherfuckers blew a 98% chance at the playoffs in Jacksonville. and you're worried about getting individual awards, but obviously not Jonathan Taylor, but you're worried about getting individual awards. You're worried about Pro Bowl votes, and you're worried about not getting enough respect. Why would anybody fucking respect you? Why?
Were they mad about Jonathan Taylor not getting Offensive Player of the Year?
Well, that they were mad. Darius Leonard was mad. He didn't get any Defensive Player of the Year votes or any consideration. He wasn't even in the nomination. So he
probably should have.
And then, I mean, he had a fantastic season, but at the end of the day, like, dude, like,
yeah,
I mean,
that might be part of the problem.
And he said, like, he got on there and he got on Twitter, and I saw it earlier. And this is not anything in him because I know it's not his fault. He did what he could. He's a good player, but he got on there and he's just like,
it's not Darius's fault.
No, not at all. But he did get on Twitter, and like I saw it, and it was just, he tweeted something about like the Colts still refuse, like the Colts never get any respect, and I'm ready for the day that changes. And
sorry, I got booted for a second.
No, you're fine.
Hey,
but he's like,
right back.
He said that tweet, and he's like, the Colts never get any respect, and I'm ready for the day that finally changes. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, why would you want respect? Like, or why would anybody give y'all respect? You can't even beat Jacksonville to get into the playoffs. You haven't won the division since 2014. Like, you've missed the playoffs in 2 out of the last 4 years. Like,
yeah.
I mean, come on. At the end of the day, you got to quit tweeting about shit and quit getting like, oh, well, this guy got snubbed. This guy got snubbed. I sent like a group, because I've got a group of friends on Twitter. Like, it's a big Colts group, and there's like 20 of us in there, and we just talk, all day pretty much about the Colts, which we do end up messaging each other just about every day. But I put in there, I was like, you know what? I'm fucking glad no Colts won any awards last night. Like, I'm so glad that happened. I said, because I'm so like, this is the most awarded non-playoff team in history. It's like, oh, we got the most Pro Bowlers.
All pros.
Yeah, all pros. Oh, Jonathan Taylor is the ground player of the year. We got
he did get that. Yeah.
Yeah, we got this. And y'all motherfuckers can't even make the playoffs. And you get, and Jared touched on it too. He's like, it's not even the fact that y'all got beat in Jacksonville. It's the fact that y'all fucking quit. Like, y'all didn't even want to play in that game.
No, they got their pants pulled down.
Yeah. Like, y'all didn't even fucking show up off the plane. And y'all are worried about like, oh, we don't get respect. We don't get individual awards. Man.
And I get sticking up for your teammates and stuff, but like, anybody really be mad that Cooper Kupp won Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, like, my point does still stand. Jonathan Taylor did have more yards and more touchdowns. I'm just saying he did have a better individual year, but Cooper Kupp's in the Super Bowl. Jonathan Taylor couldn't beat the Jaguars.
Right.
Come on. Like, yeah, like that shit just like, I saw it last night and it fucking pissed me off. I was like so mad this morning when he sent that tweet out. Like, I saw it this morning. I was like, oh man, I'm going off on this show tonight. Like, I'm so fucking sick of seeing this shit. Like, why don't y'all worry about making the fucking playoff? Why don't y'all worry about winning the fucking division first? Like, you letting the Titans, like the worst 1 seed in history. Like, y'all playing a shit division. You should have at least 4 wins. If not, technically, you should have 6 free wins a year because the Titans are ass. So you should have 6 free wins every year. So you tell me how you managed to miss the playoffs when you're almost guaranteed 6 free wins to start the year out.
So I mean, I'm a Rams fan, so obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I thought it was pretty pathetic that 50 people vote on Defensive Player of the Year, and Aaron Donald got 3 first-place votes.
Yeah, that's trash. He should. It's just like, in all honesty,
I know that there's voter fatigue involved.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in all honesty, it's just voter fatigue.
It's the Jordan rule.
I know that, I know that Watt had
PJ
the sack numbers.
Out,
yeah,
man.
I know he had the sack numbers, but it's like,
there's no better defense.
Aaron Donald won Defensive Player of the Year last year. His pressures per game was higher this year. His pressure rate was higher this year. His run disruption percentage was higher this year. He had more tackles for loss this year. He had 1 less sack this year. And that's compared to last year. He won Defensive Player of the Year last year. And then on top of that, like, not to mention, the dude gets double teamed around 60% of the time, and his pass rush win rate was higher than everybody except for, I believe, Micah Parsons. Okay, so getting double teamed 60% of the time, he wins his pass rush win rate of about like 27-28%, I think. TJ Watt gets double teamed. It was either 20% or less than 20% of the time, and only had a pass rush win rate of like 23%. Like, please double team Aaron Donald 20% of the time next season, and even playing from the interior, double team him 20% of the time next season. Let me see how many sacks he gets. Like, TJ had the counting stats, and he had a great year. I'm not knocking his year, and I understand why he won Defensive Player of the Year, but it's like TJ Watt was not a better defensive player than Aaron Donald this year, and neither was fucking Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons got 2 more votes than Aaron Donald did. Like, he didn't even come in second; he came in third. So I was just
it's voter. It's exactly what you said.
Well, I will say this. I will give this to Darius Leonard. Only 3 other players in NFL history have had numbers comparable to what he did this year, as far as like tackles, forced fumbles, interceptions, passes, defense, all that. And he had the best numbers out of the 4 players that did what he did this year. All other 3 players won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He wasn't even.
He wasn't even a nominee.
Yeah, he wasn't even a nominee.
He should have been a finalist without a doubt.
He had a pick 6 in the biggest game of the year too, man. In that Pro Bowl. He had a pick 6 in that. Yeah. Him and like 4 other people, and
shit. TJ Watt had a couple sacks, and Aaron Donald didn't even get a snap in the Pro Bowl. So I guess that probably was the deciding factor. That had to be it. You know, because Super Bowl participants don't play in the Pro Bowl. You know, so what's up, TJ? But and then, like, look, some of this is just like take lock. Like preseason, I had Aaron Donald win the Defensive Player of the Year, so of course I'm upset that he had an incredible year and didn't win it. And preseason, I had Tom Brady winning MVP, and then he goes out and has an incredible year and was the league's MVP and didn't win it. Like, Green Bay and Tampa had the same record. He had 120 more completions, 1,200 more passing yards, 5 more total touchdowns, even giving Rodgers the rushing touchdowns, 5 more total touchdowns. The difference, Rodgers had a better QBR by 0.3. He had a better DVOA about 1.2%. Like, marginal differences in those categories. And then all the other categories that are supposed to win these awards, Brady was running away.
I think it was more like they had the same record, and Aaron Rodgers did more with less, pretty much, I think is what it boiled down to. Like, his offensive line was pretty much non-existent the whole year. Like, they were.
But how did he do more though?
They were on IR.
Like,
well, I mean, they had the same record, and then
which is like a team. You know, that's
both sides. It is a team stat, but I'm saying like he put up comparable numbers. Like, I mean, he still had
1,200 less passing yards.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, like, you give Aaron Rodgers Tampa Bay's O-line with Mike Evans, Antonio Brown for even however many playing games he played, and Chris Godwin. And
yeah, you can't really. I mean, Godwin didn't get to do a whole lot this year, but
well, he only missed the last few games. Like, you know, he still played in 13 games.
Oh, did he play in that many? I thought it was closer to single digits than 13.
No.
Like, not that he played single digits. I just thought it was closer to the single digit mark than 13.
No, he got hurt in the first round of the fantasy playoffs. Was the game that he tore his knee up.
Oh, he also had Gronk. That's around the same round.
Yeah, and Gronk. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers definitely, like, what he did with what he had throughout the year was, to me, more impressive. Like, the numbers, his pass attempts were a heck of a lot less, and the touchdowns are comparable. He had a better record. They had
the same record.
Did they have this? I thought
Green Bay just had the tiebreaker, but they were both.
They had the tiebreaker. Okay. All right. Well, they both didn't go very. I think they do the voting before the playoffs start. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's purely regular.
It's a regular season award.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was upset. Brady should have been able to go off in the sunset with an MVP. Like, in any.
Brady went out pretty well.
Tom Brady's my MVP. I don't give a damn, man. He's my MVP.
The world stopped when Tom Brady announced his retirement.
But I will say this, though. as far as the NFL honors goes, I thought it was really cool how much credit he gave to Matt LaFleur and I don't know if you guys saw his acceptance speech for the MVP, but the love he gave LaFleur, I thought that was really cool.
Really, the whole Packers organization too.
Yeah, like,
who won Coach of the Year?
It sounded Vrabel.
Vrabel won.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
regular season award with what he did with the injuries. I mean, it's getting the 1 seed with the injuries they had to deal with. It made sense.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Taylor is better, but I mean, whatever.
Not really in the regular season. I don't think he was.
I mean, they won that division. They won double-digit games, and
they didn't get the 1 seed, and they didn't have to deal with near as many injuries as the Titans did.
Yeah, man, Cincinnati got extremely lucky with that all year.
That's
why they're playing on Sunday.
Yeah, but we all had them. What place did we have them in the beginning of the year?
Well, yeah, we're a bunch of dumbasses with 20 subscribers, though. You know that doesn't.
I mean, okay,
there's a lot of
where did most people have them?
Yeah, you can't give them Coach of the Year because the 3-Man Rush podcast thought they were going to finish last in the division.
It ain't just a 3-Man Rush podcast, man. They were written off before the season even started.
No, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't know anybody other than Bengals fans. Maybe I don't even think Bengals fans saw this coming. No, you know,
no. I
can tell you from a fact that Bengals
I think the Zach Taylor thing. I think the Joe Burrow love. I think a lot of that is like, even though we're talking about regular season awards, I think a lot of the steam is coming from seeing the run they're going on in the playoffs, even though it has nothing to do with the regular season. I think some people the loss to the Jets and how bad they played against
who lost to the Jets?
The 1 seed also lost to the Jets, but they also got the 1 seed. Okay. You know, and like
they had the weakest record in the NFL the first.
Right. So how many games did the Bengals win without Joe Mixon? How many games did the Bengals win without Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
Well, probably none.
Okay, how many games did the Titans win without Derrick Henry? And without Julio Jones and without AJ Brown?
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I will give AJ Brown, Julio. Yeah, to an extent. And then, of course, Deontay Foreman actually outproduced, yards per carry wise, Derrick Henry.
But. Yeah, shout out Deontay Foreman, man. He really did look good. And the Titans might have got to play another week if they'd have given him a few more carries, because he looked good in that game too.
Yeah, because he played something about Derrick Henry in the playoffs. It's just
seeing the ghost of the Baltimore Ravens.
I've seen Derrick Henry destroy the New England Patriots in Foxborough, man.
He did do that.
Absolutely destroyed them.
Oh, I've seen LeGarrette Blount destroy the Colts. So LeGarrette Blount is
but the Patriots always beat the Colts in the playoffs. Outside of the Manning, Manning got smoked a lot in the beginning.
Yeah, not in the AFC title game.
No.
Just in the divisional round.
So did you guys get to listen to Rodgers' acceptance speech at the honors?
Yeah, sure
so
did.
I want to know your opinions on it. Did that sound like because you can spin it one of two ways. Did that sound like I'm coming back because of how much I love you guys speech, or did that sound like a goodbye speech?
That sounded like a goodbye speech, but
it
sounded like a goodbye speech as far as I'm retiring. That sounded like a retirement speech, bro.
He's not retiring.
I don't think he's retiring. But
I can't say that there's no chance, because last time I said that, Tom Brady fucking retired. So
and look, and who was on that? Who was on that?
Yeah, you guys called it, and that was before. It wasn't like
it wasn't even a discussion.
It wasn't like, oh, Adam Schefter said it, so then y'all came on the show and said it. It was before anybody even brought it up. It was before.
It was before the playoffs.
We were talking. No, we were previewing the Buccaneers. Who did the Buccaneers play for? The Buccaneers and Eagles. We were previewing the Buccaneers and Eagles game, and you guys said one underrated storyline of this game is if the Bucs somehow do lose or something, this could be Tom Brady's last game because he could retire after this year. And I was like, no way. And sure enough,
I told you the ESPN documentary. The ESPN documentary is what did it for me, man. So when they did that documentary,
it wasn't. So look,
that's it.
And maybe it is too, like Andrew, too, because you're married, but and Jared, you're basically married too at this point. What did it for me, the moment I heard him start mentioning that his wife was wondering whenever it was their time and football was going to be over, the moment he said his wife was saying that, I knew. I knew instantly. I was like, That's what did it for me, because it's different, because I think maybe if he had like more to accomplish and his kids were younger, then I think maybe it wouldn't have mattered as much. But he has nothing. He literally has nothing left to accomplish. Like there's nothing more he can do that he hasn't already
outside
done.
of winning more championships.
He owns all the regular and postseason records. He has more Super Bowls than any franchise. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing more you can do. And now your kids are hitting that age to where, they're 10, 11, 12. It's a lot different whenever they're at that age than when they're 3 and 4 and you're not at home. Now your kids are wanting you to throw the football to them. They're wanting you to take them to school. They're wanting to do that. And whenever he said that his wife had brought that up, like, hey, now we're wondering, when it's time for us to come first. Whenever he said that,
she's wanting him to retire for a while.
But whenever he brought it up like that, I knew instantly, like, and especially whenever you look at a woman that look like Gisele Bündchen does, and she tells you that, you don't say no. You just go along like, okay, yeah, it's time. Plus, he probably looked at how many free agents they have and their cap space, and he was probably like, okay, yeah, I'm LeBron in this shit. I'm dipping out before it gets bad.
Yo, and that was such an underrated part that whenever you guys were talking about it, I didn't even factor in, was like the fact that, like, whenever you look at their restricted and unrestricted, the free agents that are on that team, like, they basically got Mike Evans is going to be that Will Smith Fresh Prince meme, him like standing in the room, like, where the hell did everybody go? Like that's all they got. Like, and he's going to go out there and put up 1,010 next year with whoever they put out there quarterback. It's just what the man does. But
Jameis coming back.
Yeah, famous Jameis coming back.
There's been a lot of talks about already.
That was something you guys talked about on the last episode that I really didn't get to react to, that, like, because the Tom Brady retirement news broke prior to y'all recording that episode, and the dude, he's the greatest of all time, man. And I mean, it's gonna suck watching football without him, but at the same time, I'm
give somebody else a chance. God damn.
Bro, I fucking, like, yeah, I started watching football whenever I was probably like 6, 7 years old. The Rams were already in St. Louis at that point. Like, my first memory of watching football is watching the Rams playoff run, like watching Ricky Pearl catch the corner touchdown against the Buccaneers to go from the NFC Championship to the Super Bowl, and then watching them beat the Titans, sat in the living room with my parents. Like, that's like one of my first memories, period, of football.
One of your first memories is watching the Titans lose the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but on top of that, one of my other first memories is 2 years later watching Tom Brady come in and, like, this close game. I'm like, oh, the Rams got this. And then Tom Brady, who ain't done shit hardly all game, marches them down the field in the fourth quarter for Adam Vinatieri to kick a game-winning field goal and break my fucking heart as a kid. And then, like, a decade later, I go through this terrible stretch as a Rams fan where it's just miserable. Like, basically all I had for a while was Steven Jackson, and that was it. Like, that was all that I could, like, Steven Jackson, I can't tell you how much I love you, because you were the only thing that I could enjoy on Sundays for so long. Lo and behold, we get Sean McVay, we make it back to the Super Bowl, and this motherfucker Tom Brady is still there, and here he is again. It's a decade plus some apart from the last time the Rams made the Super Bowl, and I'll be damned if it's not the same game all over again. Nobody does shit. Terrible. And then Tom Brady leads them down the field in the fourth quarter. Sony Michel punches in a touchdown, and I'm like, man, this is the fucking 2001 Super Bowl all over again. Like,
you might want to close your ears for a second, because the last show I told Landon there's a lot of coincidence going on here.
I don't have to close my ears because I listened and I didn't enjoy it because you weren't wrong.
Burrow year 2, Brady won year 2.
Mm-hmm.
Underdog. He's underdog.
Yeah.
Play the Rams. Yeah. Brady retires. There's a lot of narrative there, man.
There is, and I don't like it. I wasn't already nervous enough. I listened to you putting all those pieces together, and I was like, "Fuck, he's right." I don't like it.
Yeah, but see, so here's the kicker, though: is it really depends on if Zach Taylor tapes the defensive signals of what the Rams are running.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, if they don't have Spygate 2.0 over there, then they're screwed. So, like,
yeah, exactly.
as long as that's not
If they
going
don't know
on,
what
we're
the
good.
Rams are running, then it's a
Because
whole different ball game.
the Rams would 100% have 2 Super Bowls right now. Spygate wasn't a thing. So, as long as Zach Taylor doesn't have that going for him, if his IT department sucks, then we should be good.
Yeah.
But I mean, what Brady, the longevity, and just the fact that I'm sitting on here making an argument for him to be the MVP of the NFL on the year that he decides to call it quits.
It's weird to see a 44-year-old player retire in his prime.
Yeah, that's not a normal thing. You wouldn't consider that to be a player's prime, but I mean, his work ethic, I don't know, man. There's not enough you can say about the dude. I mean, he's unreal.
It's the greatest career in sports history.
Yeah, it's something that you're not going to see again. Like, I'm just thankful that I was alive to be able to enjoy. Like, I don't, I barely know football without Tom Brady. I had a few years of being introduced to football basically before Tom Brady introduced me into heartbreak, and that's like the majority of my football life has been centered around, when is this motherfucker going to stop winning? And
he's 13-3 against the Colts. I know very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been looking forward to him retiring for a long time.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's finally here, and it's so weird, man. And I was strangely like, whenever he finally made the official announcement, I was like, I was kind of sad. Like, not like I didn't like cry or no shit like that, but I was like, man, it's gonna like we just got introduced to like this fun Florida version of Tom. That's just out there having a ball, and it's like, and the dude just put up an arguable MVP season, and he's calling it quits. Like, no, don't do that. Come back. Like, I'm not ready to live football without you. But yeah, the dude's awesome, man, and all the praise that he gets, he is deserving of all of it. But I'm just glad he's not here to block the Rams from any more Super Bowls. But I swear to God, if we run into Tom Brady 2.0 on Sunday, if Joe Burrow does end up becoming Tom Brady 2.0, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Because Burrow is incredible in his own right, and the poise that he has at the point in his career that he's at makes no sense and should not be a thing. But here we are.
The scary part is that dude doesn't know how to lose. Like,
yeah, that's what worries me, man. Is like, that's like
nothing riles the dude.
Yeah,
no,
like you're not supposed to get sacked 9 times in a playoff game and win. That's not supposed to be a thing.
And it doesn't matter like how bad the game's going. Like that halftime at Kansas City, that game was over. Like, there's no way
it looked bad.
Yeah, like it does not. It does not matter. Like at the end of the game, he will have a chance to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, he will have a chance.
Yep. Let's transition into it. Y'all want to talk about the Super Bowl? Y'all want to talk about the game?
Let's go. Let's
do it. Y'all,
this is what we're here for. This is what the people are here for. Okay, so I will say this: I'm going up to Metropolis there in Illinois to have dinner with Jared tomorrow night. I've already got some bets. I'm set.
Oh yeah, because you got to cross the state lines.
Yeah, I've got to cross the state lines, and now I don't have to do the whole like the usual thing where I drive across the bridge and like hit send and then drive back. So now like I'm already going to be there. So stupid. Yeah, I know, Kentucky, man. Like, what are you gonna do?
With the times, man. Fuck.
Yeah, we're so far behind. But regardless, so I've already got some lines set. The line changed today from Rams 4.5 to Rams 3.5.
Oh, it went back down?
It went down. Rams 3.5.
Shit. A lot of people were taking that. A lot of people were taking the Bengals on that 4.5 line.
Yeah, well, I'm taking Rams 3.5. I'll tell you right now. Taking Rams 3.5.
Okay.
And I've got Odell Beckham Jr. as my MVP.
Ooh, okay. That would be fun. I love Odell. Even before the Rams picked him up, I had a lot of love for Odell. So that would be such a cool redemption story.
That's what I'm rolling out. So I think Odell has a big game. I think it's like it's almost kind of like his redemption.
Yeah.
And then, he wins Super Bowl MVP, and Rams win the Super Bowl. I'm cashing in. So see, either way, I'm doing the Skip Bayless thing where it's like either way, like I can't lose in these Jordans. Where like either Joe Burrow wins and the Bengals win, and I'm happy for that franchise and I'm happy for that fan base because they've known nothing but shit like for most of their lives. Like one of my really good friends, I know we talked about it, huge Bengals fan. He's 32. They haven't won a playoff game in 31 years. So almost his entire life, he's never seen them do shit. Like they've just sucked.
Yeah,
so
he was shitting and pissing himself the last time.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, so either he wins and I'm happy for him, or either the Rams win, I'm happy for Drew and I win money. So like either way, like let's go. I'm here to drink, I'm here to smoke barbecue and hang out with my friends, and that's what we're all about. That's what Sunday is all about for me.
Hell yeah.
So we going game takes?
Yeah, hit me with them.
Man, if you look at this on paper, this should not.
Oh, we lost him, ladies and gentlemen. So what he was going to say is, if you look at this on tape, this really should.
Oh wait, he's back. He's back.
Oh, he's back. Okay, he's back.
Yeah.
So you said it. You were saying if you look on this on paper, this should. It sounded like you're about to say it should not be close.
It shouldn't be close. Yeah, the Rams should win this game easily.
I hate when people say that shit.
I know.
I mean, it's true though. Like
you're not wrong.
The only advantage that Cincinnati has is in special teams. That's the only advantage they have.
Yeah.
Like outside of that, man, like I feel like the receiving core, you can argue that it's like maybe a better team receiving core, but Cooper Kupp's the best wide receiver in football by a long shot. Jamar Chase is amazing, but Cooper Kupp's a better route runner. He's got longevity.
That dude gets separation, man. Like
his route running and his yards after the catch makes no sense.
I would say I would take Mixon at running back, but
yeah, I agree.
Their offensive line's not much, so you have a running back that they can
run block. They can run block on the offensive line, but this is what worries me about that though. It's because San Francisco was the same thing. And the Rams fucking stoned San Francisco in the run game.
Yeah.
They were not able to run at all on them. I think they only had 68 yards rushing. Like it was like 60 something.
A lot of that was Deebo Samuel. And they're going to have to get creative to get Jamar Chase the ball. He's not like, I don't think Ramsey's going to shadow him per se, but I can honestly see like Ramsey's going to take
I think if Jamar Chase has like one big catch, like if he has like one big play, then I think Ramsey will take him. I think they'll play their defense until Jamar Chase gets loose. And then I think Ramsey will be like, okay, this shit ain't happening again.
Ramsey has not been shy either. He has said multiple times this week that I want put me on their best receiver and let me shut him down. Like, and he said because he's all the reporters been asking, what do you think about Jamar Chase? Are you going to be on him? And he said that's what I want. Find their best player and put me on him and let me take him out of the game. So that's definitely what he wants. And honestly, that's one of the things I'm most nervous about in this game. Not about Jalen Ramsey, but Darius Williams is the Rams cornerback too, and he was a great corner last year and for parts of this year as well. But he's been allowing a passer rating. What was it? It was over 100, I believe, in the playoffs. And T. Higgins is no slouch.
Well, I was gonna say, and that matchup ain't gonna get any easier. And the size mismatch between those two guys is very pronounced.
It is
not a small thing.
His last two playoff games, Darius Williams has a passer rating of 104.9 when targeted, and he's probably going to spend a decent amount of the game on T. Higgins. And T. Higgins is not your average wide receiver two.
No.
Like, so that is honestly one of the most nerve-wracking matchups that I have, to where if Darius Williams can just can gather whatever he had going for him last year and parts of this year as well before the playoffs got here, if he can lock down his side of the field even a little bit, just one game, then I think the Rams will be in good shape. But if he can't do that, if he plays the same ball he's been playing in the playoffs, the Rams are going to be in some trouble. And another thing the Rams really don't do well is defending screen passes, and any type of pass where linebackers are asked to to try to cover people. That's without. I mean, the Rams defensive line is solidified. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey is what he is, but the linebacking core is.
It leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah. So I mean, if they can set up screens to Joe Mixon and to Jamar Chase and things like that, and get creative with that. That's where I see the defense having trouble. Obviously all the talk has been around the Bengals offensive line versus the Rams defensive line, and I mean obviously the Rams have a clear advantage there. I mean, if you let the Titans sack Joe Burrow 9 times, like now you got to deal with Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, Greg Gaines, like. It
only gets worse.
Yeah, they should be able to, to handle business there. But I mean, there are ways for the Bengals to remedy that. There are ways for Zach Taylor to remedy that. And like if we hear the noise, obviously they hear it, and they're going to be game planning to find ways to get the ball out of Burrow's hands and to try to, go against that pass rush that's going to be coming. So the thing for me that really stuck out that I'm interested in seeing if the Rams exploit it or not is leading up to the Super Bowl. The Bengals defense is on pace to give up the worst yards per carry to running backs in playoff history. Like they're giving up almost 7 yards per carry to running backs up to this point in the playoffs. And the Chiefs, for whatever reason, were like, who cares? We're just not going to give our running backs the ball.
Yeah, bro. If they would have rode who was their running back that game that was going off?
I mean, they had Clyde, Darrell, and Jerick McKinnon all there.
That's who it was. If they would have rode Jerick McKinnon more, they probably would have won that game.
Yeah, and so like that's why I think a sneaky pick for Super Bowl MVP, if you have if you're someone that has the Rams winning the game, I think Cam Akers could be a sneaky pick for Super Bowl MVP, just because of how involved, even with Darrell Henderson being activated. I just can't imagine him handling any more than a handful of touches, with this being his first game back, and it's the fucking Super Bowl. But with how willing they've been to just give Cam Akers a large majority of the work, and with how poor Cincinnati's defense has been against the run, I think he could be a sneaky Super Bowl MVP pick, but it'll probably come down to one of the two quarterbacks.
It's actually the opposite for me on the other side. I think if the Bengals are going to win this game, I think Joe Mixon's going to have a good game. He's going to
I agree.
have a good game. So I think if you are looking to pivot off of the Rams, if you are looking to possibly go with a Bengals, parlay or something like that, I think Joe Mixon for MVP
I agree.
Is actually a really, really good play. Because I think in order for them to win this game, they're going to have to ball control. They're going to have to run the ball. Because what's one way to avoid a pass rush? Run the ball.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a big part of their game plan. Now, whether or not that's successful or not, who knows? But Joe Mixon also very, very good catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So
he's a 3-down back.
Yeah, they can manufacture touches in multiple ways.
Samaje Perine is no slouch coming out of the backfield either in terms of catching passes.
Yeah,
they can draw up screen passes and stuff like that for him and be effective as well.
Kansas City knows very well.
But I do think one of the reasons that the Rams were so successful in slowing down the 49ers running attack in the NFC Championship game is the fact that they knew that if they stop the run, Jimmy Garoppolo, with him being injured, the way with having injured thumb, things like that, like we're just gonna let Jimmy G, Jimmy G, an injured Jimmy Garoppolo is just gonna have to beat us. Like that's just it is what it is. Like you're not gonna beat us on the ground. You can't do that against Cincinnati. Go put all your eggs in the basket of stopping the run and asking Joe Burrow to beat you, and he's gonna beat you. It was a little bit more predictable, I think, against the 49ers, and it's going to be against Cincinnati, which is where I think you could see Joe Mixon having, even though they don't have the offensive line that San Francisco has, and even though Zach Taylor might not be schematically on par with Kyle Shanahan, I still think you could see Joe Mixon having much more success than Elijah Mitchell and Debo did on the ground, just because of the lack of predictability that Cincinnati gives you versus San Francisco too. And I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, this is a very, like Jared said, on paper, like it shouldn't be close. And like, I don't necessarily agree to an extent that it shouldn't be close. I think everybody's looking at more of the Cincinnati O-line, Bengals D-line matchup, and they're seeing that matchup. And I think that's kind of taken precedent on how people are viewing this game.
Yeah, I agree.
But as you said, Joe Burrow, dude, like you can sack him 9-10 times. It's not going to matter. He's just going to keep coming. Like pressure does not bother him one bit. And Jared said, they're having internet issues. He, hopefully he hops back on here in a second. He's restarting his router, but like Jared said, one thing about it is the guy just doesn't know how to lose. Like,
right.
I mean, yeah, like and I'm not saying like he doesn't lose games. Like obviously, like, he's lost games before, but it just seems like in the biggest games when he has to make a play to win a game, he comes through. So yeah, man, this is it. I think it's going to be a closer game than what people think it's going to be, but on the other side of that, if it does go the way of a blowout, I think it's clearly in the Rams' favor of that happening. I don't think Cincinnati's going to blow the Rams out, but I think the Rams have.
Oh, you're saying like if a blowout was to happen?
If a blowout was to happen, I think it's much more likely that it's on the Rams' end where the Rams are blowing the Bengals out as opposed to the Bengals blowing the Rams out. But if it's a close game, as a Rams fan, if it's a close game, I'm worried.
Yeah, I'm most definitely gonna be worried because I expect it to be a close game. But part of what you said about like people expecting a Rams blowout is people like they look at this Rams roster as like this star-studded roster full of just like all they do is trade for every player that they have and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a really big misconception of how the Rams have built this team.
Yeah, they have the 6th most homegrown players in the NFL out of every
so
team,
that they, including practice squad and IR, 34 of their roster spots are from draft picks, and 15 of the roster spots are from undrafted free agents. Now they do have 22 free agent signings. They've got 5 trade acquisitions, with Stafford and Von Miller being probably the 2 biggest ones. And then I like OBJ wasn't a trade acquisition because he was cut, but and the 4 waiver claims, but and like the whole fuck them picks thing, like that's fun and I love the meme and it's cool and stuff like that. But like since Sean McVay was hired in 2017, the Rams have made the 2nd most draft selections in the entire NFL. Like Minnesota's the only team in the NFL that has drafted more players since the time Sean McVay was hired. Like they don't say fuck them picks, they just say fuck them 1st round picks. And I mean, whenever you look at it, like with the way the Rams are building this team, they're projecting that they're going to be picking in the back of the 1st round. And on a year-to-year basis, from at least from what I've read, most people only have like a true 1st round grade on like maybe 18 to 20 players. So if you're going to be drafting in the back of the 1st round, why are people holding on to these 1st round picks like there's some type of gold? Like it's like guaranteed I'm drafting a Hall of Famer with this 28th overall pick.
Yeah.
And and so they're
I will say too, like
they're trading 2 late first round picks for Jalen Ramsey. They're trading 2 late 1st round picks and a 3rd round pick to go from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford. Like I will take that all day long. And they just, it's credit to Les Snead and to the guys in the front office. They continue like Cooper Kupp, 3rd round pick, Cam Akers, 2nd round pick, Kendall Blanton, who is going to be playing, like Tyler Higbee is not playing in the Super Bowl. Kendall Blanton is going to be filling in at tight end. And whenever Tyler Higbee went out in the NFC Championship game, Kendall Blanton stepped in, and I believe he caught like 5 different passes that were 3rd down conversions. Undrafted free agent back in 2019. These guys continue to find players in the mid to late rounds and develop them into contributing players. And that's how this whole thing works. Like if you don't hit on the mid-round picks, if you can't develop players, then you can't trade off your 1st round picks. But if you have the personnel and the coaching able to do that, then you can say, who cares about that 28th overall first round pick? Go give me Jalen Ramsey for 2 years of that. Go give me Matthew Stafford for 2 years of that, because we're going to keep finding the Cooper Kupps, the John Johnsons, the Gerald Everetts, the Jordan Fullers of the world, that have been, and Nick Scott, who's been playing the
Yeah, look,
Rams,
whenever
the
the
Rams
Rams did
safety
have first
room
round picks
was
outside of Aaron Donald's, they picked guys like Greg Robinson and Jared Goff.
right. That
So
literally the
yeah,
last
like
first
you
round
don't
pick
want
the
them to pick in the
Rams.
first round.
The last first round pick that Rams made was Jared Goff. And then they did that. And they were like, well, fuck that. We're never doing that again. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. If you're a team that's in position to win, I think those back end first round picks are just overvalued, in my opinion, with some of the reactions that I've seen from people on the internet that say, oh, the Rams traded away another first round pick. It's like, yeah, I mean, can you even tell me who the two players are that the Jaguars have drafted with those first round picks that we gave up for Jalen Ramsey? And if they even come close to the impact that Jalen Ramsey has for the Rams, like, I mean, I don't know, man. I think some of it's kind of silly, but I think that there's some
I agree.
misconceptions on how the Rams build their team, and that it's just all, like I love the fuck them picks meme. I think it's hilarious, the fact that there's t-shirts and coffee cups and stuff. Like I want one of those coffee cups, but the Rams' ability to make the most out of their mid-round draft picks is extremely underrated and just completely looked over, because they don't draft in the first round. And I don't think that the front office gets the credit that they deserve for what they've done to put this team in this position.
Speaking of t-shirts, have you seen the Detroit Rams t-shirt?
Detroit Rams, yeah, I have. That's
awesome.
That's how you know your franchise has been down bad. You gonna tell me you don't wish the Detroit Lions had been building their team the way the Rams had? Like you don't think that they wish they would have traded 2 first round picks for Jalen Ramsey and built a team full of mid round?
It's crazy. You got to think like, how robbed have we been of Matt Stafford like having multiple Super Bowl success? Because he's been in Detroit with almost no success, and then the 1 year he's not, like, literally the first year he's out of Detroit,
first season,
guys played in Super Bowl, and you're sitting there and you're just like, man, have we been robbed again? Like, you robbed us of Barry Sanders, you robbed us of Calvin Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
How many years have you robbed us of Matthew Stafford now?
It's crazy, man.
Can we just fold that franchise already?
It's crazy. It's just, I mean, there's so many fun storylines in this game. You've got like in terms of total age, you got the 2 head coaches, the Zach Taylor and Sean McVay, that's the youngest total age of head coaches going up against each other. But then you got old heads like Andrew Whitworth, who this could possibly be his last year in the league, and he could possibly right off into the sunset by beating the team that he came into the league with and spent the majority of his career with. Yeah. He could probably, Eric Weddle was like literally Taylor Rapp suffered a concussion. He was out. Jordan Fuller out with a year due to an injury. Those are the Rams' 2 starting safeties. They bring Eric Weddle in off the couch, which the guy, I mean, not literally off the couch, he was in football shape, but Eric Weddle comes in and he's got the green dot for the Super Bowl on Sunday.
He's calling plays.
He's going to be the head honcho out there, and so, I mean, and he pretty much said this is going to be like, there is no more comebacks after this. Like, and the games in LA, we went 50 some years, 60 some years without ever having a home team playing the Super Bowl. Now we've got back-to-back years of the Bucks playing in their home game. Now the Rams playing in their home stadium. There's a lot of fun storylines, and
there is. And then, like Jared pointed out last week, now you've got the Bengals parallels with the early Patriots. Like, yeah, everything's almost set up perfectly either way. Yeah, this is the first Super Bowl in years that I can sit there and say, like, I'm just going to enjoy the game and I have no rooting interest. I'm happy either way. Like I said, the Bengals win, I'm happy for Joe Burrow. I'm happy for that franchise. I'm happy for those fans mostly. And then the Rams win, like, not necessarily their fans, because they're kind of non-existent. I don't like LA teams like at all. I think LA teams are superficial. They don't need more championships, and the fans really don't give a shit. But I do have fans that were from St. Louis that carried over, like you, and our friend Dave is a big Rams fan. He'll be here on Sunday. That they were, and Dave's from St. Louis. So they were big St. Louis Rams fans, and they just, when they transplanted to LA, they just kept being Rams fans. So there are a lot of longtime St. Louis Rams fans that didn't have a lot of success that have been able to enjoy it, even though they're not in St. Louis. So I'll be happy for them, and I'll be happy for Stafford, and I'll be happy for Odell and Andrew Whitworth and some of those other guys. So yeah, like there's no bad like rooting interest in this game where it's just like, oh well, Kansas City's in it again. Oh well, Tom Brady's in it again.
Right.
Well, there's this. Like that doesn't exist in the Super Bowl. You can pretty much just like whoever wins, you're just like, oh man, I'm happy for that dude. Oh, I'm happy for them. Like that's cool. I will say it is a little funny. Like ESPN was focused. I don't know if you saw the pep rallies that went on. Did you see that where they were showing the Rams pep rally like the whole night? So they had two separate pep rallies in the stadiums. So the Rams had one in the Rams stadium.
Bengals it wasn't in the Rams stadium because they
wasn't in the Rams stadium.
They couldn't have it. They had it at their training facility in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was off, but the one
Cincinnati was in their stadium. One.
Yeah. And so the Rams had 3,000 fans.
They only allowed the season ticket holders. I don't understand that, but I guess because it's a limited area, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then the Bengals had 30,000 people.
Yeah,
show up for that pep rally, and everybody's looking at that, and they're just like, "Well, I'd rather have the Bengals win." A lot of America's picking the Bengals, which I think is funny,
especially whenever it went up to like 4.5 points, in favor of the Rams. That people really started heavily taking the Bengals, which is why I think the line came back down.
Yeah, that's exactly why I came back down, because so many people are betting the Bengals. So yeah, I'm gonna take Rams 3.5. I'll take Odell. It's my MVP, dark horse MVP.
That would be so cool, man. I would be so happy for him because his.
I'd be happy for me because I'd win money.
Right, I'd be happy for you too for winning money. But I don't know. The perception of Odell whenever he was in Cleveland just got trashed so hard. So many people talked down on that dude so bad. Yeah. And he's just a cancer and this and that. And I don't know, seeing how like the Rams are not in the Super Bowl if they don't have Odell Beckham.
No, absolutely not.
That is that simple, man. With them having to lose Robert Woods,
the timing of that too is just wild.
Yeah, it's insane, man. They're not playing in this game if Odell Beckham doesn't happen. And he has been nothing but nobody on the Rams has talked about anything other than just how incredible of a teammate he is. And he
even said this week, like he said, like, because they asked him, or I think it might have been either today or yesterday, they asked him like, hey, like, your contract's coming up now, like, would you be willing to take less money to stay here in LA and continue this on? And he said, absolutely. He's like, I would take
be ecstatic.
Yeah, he said he would take less money to stay in this situation that he's in LA, so they could continue to build the team.
I would love to see them run this back with Robert Woods back healthy next year, man. That would make me so happy because, like, the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl, whenever they played Brady and the Patriots, that was whenever Cooper Kupp was hurt, and they were Robert Woods was the lead guy. They didn't have Cooper Kupp. Now this year they're in the Super Bowl. There's no Robert Woods, and it is impossible to say what Robert Woods means to this team. Like,
oh man,
just from, it's a shame that it's even on camera because that should have been able to be a personal moment between the two guys. But if you haven't seen the moment between Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods after the NFC Championship game, could just go watch that 1 minute long clip between Kupp and Woods, and it'll give you kind of just a very, very, very small understanding of what Woods means to this team. And so I would love to see them run this back with Woods being healthy, because he's such an underrated player in this league and such an underrated receiver with what he brings to the team. And I would feel much more confident in the Rams if Woods was healthy and he was out there as well, along with the weapons that they have.
Yeah, that trio would be disgusting. So I mean, I know Jared. I believe Jared he's still experiencing internet. I guess they had an outage in his area, of course, at the worst possible time.
He did tell me he's picking the Rams, though. So that's
out there. He's picking the Rams. I'm picking the Rams, which I know this makes you nervous. All three of us are on the Rams on this, and I know you fucking hate that.
But, I do. I needed one of you guys to pick the Bengals.
I just, man, I think Stafford gets it done, man. Like I really want to see Stafford get it done. And I'm excited for a lot. Like I said, either way this goes, I'm happy. I'm just here to smoke meat, drink some old fashions, drink some cocktails here, and hang out with my friends and family. We've got a big crew coming over here, so we're really excited.
If the Rams do lose, it'll take me a little bit to get over it, but I will be much happier for the opposing team in this scenario than I was whenever the Patriots won for the second time against the Rams.
Yeah.
Like, you guys didn't need
that's
that
my
shit.
main thing too. That's what I want, man. Is I just want this to be a better game than the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl, because that Super Bowl fucking sucked ass.
I truly believe that it will.
That was a terrible game. That was a terrible game.
McVay has said some really interesting things about like how he basically like outsmarted himself last time and overthought it, and was just like all the way leading up to the day before the Super Bowl was just like changing things around. We got to do this, we got to do that, to where like this year he's basically like, they get 2 weeks. It's like the first week we put in our game plan, and then that's it. That's that. And then we'll spend the next week preparing.
Yeah. Go with what got you there.
Yeah. So I think that, well, as painful as that, as painful as it was for me, I'm sure it was much more painful for all the guys actually involved in the game. I think that there were some positives for McVay in that the pieces of the team that are still here from that Rams loss against the Patriots, I do think that there will be some positives that come out of that.
Yeah, I think they realized that Jared Goff wasn't it, and that's why they that's a big positive for the
Look,
Rams.
If that Super Bowl game was what brought that along, then that'll be the best Super Bowl loss that could ever happen to me, because God, I love Matthew Stafford. Even before he came.
I was gonna say
Rams,
we've both been on that train.
I've had so much love for that dude and how good he is at just slinging the football, and just seeing all this come to fruition in year one of him being with this team, man, and just
further pisses me off that the Colts didn't make the move.
Right, the Colts would have just as good of a chance to be representing the AFC if they had Matthew Stafford instead of Carson Wentz. Like, we could very well be talking about the Colts being in the Super Bowl right now.
But hey, gotta have those picks, right? Two first rounders were way too much to give up. You need to tell Chris Ballard, had to give up one.
You need to tell Chris Ballard to holler at Les Snead and have a first round draft pick discussion.
Jesus Christ. Well, now we don't have a first rounder this year. I will say, though, to your credit, if there was ever a year to not have a first round draft pick, it's this year.
Yeah. You talk about like 18 to 20 guys having a first round grade. That number might be even lower this year.
Yeah, you probably got about 7 so far that I'm into, which I'm also really excited. I've been doing some really, really deep diving.
That NFL draft prep is, I haven't really been able to get into it too much, but like us talking about the NFL draft on the show is right around the corner.
I've been deep in the trenches. I've been breaking down Senior Bowl film, over the last couple of weeks.
I'm going to have to play catch up after the Super Bowl.
Got really excited for Senior Bowl week. I actually had one of the guys in our Colts group that I talked about. He was actually at the Senior Bowl doing some scouting and stuff. So I've talked to him about some different prospects. So I'm really excited to dive deep in, even though the Colts don't have a first round pick. I'm really excited to do a deep dive because, as we've talked about on this podcast, we were more accurate than ESPN, than Yahoo, than NFL Network. We had more correct first round picks than all the major sports networks. So if you're listening to this, you're getting a better chance at knowing who's going where, because we put in a lot of time.
And that was our first shot at the thing. Like, now, granted, those networks, they do like full 7-round mocks and stuff like that. Like, they dig probably, deeper into the late rounds that we do. But as far as first round mock drafts go, our mock draft 3.0, which was the final one we did before the NFL draft, we did. We
out of the park, man.
Yeah, we hit on more than all those major networks, and that was our first go around of doing that together.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you right now, this year, this is going to be a test. This is going to be hard.
This one's going to be wild.
Dude, I have never seen an NFL draft to where there are this many players that could possibly go, like, not even just like top 1, but like in the top 5. It's a total crapshoot. Yeah. You literally have about 7 to 8 guys who are exactly in the exact same range with that, like that
Well,
first
you have
overall.
guys like Derek Stingley, the quarterback from LSU. Like
Yeah, who I
before
think
this
is the best
season,
player in the draft.
before the season started, he was a locked in top 5 pick. Now people got him sliding out of the top 5. You've got the pass rusher from Oregon, Thibodeau,
You got
or
Thibodeau, you have
yeah,
Kayvon Thibodeau,
he
you
was
have
like a
Aiden
locked.
Hutchinson, and then you
Thibodeau
got
was a
about
locked in
3
top 2
tackles.
pick, and now you got
Yeah,
people talking about, oh,
he's falling out
he's
of the
not
top
working
5.
hard
Yeah,
enough, and this shit's gonna be crazy.
and then you're not even getting into the quarterbacks, which the quarterbacks. I mean, this is just you literally have guys
That's
that
gonna be a
like,
crapshoot.
oh my gosh, man, you have guys that like they're either going to be superstars or they're going to be like third stringers within like 2 years.
It
Like,
could
I mean,
literally be a whole
yeah,
class full of
exactly. They're
backups.
yeah, like you have guys that you have nobody that does everything at an average to above average level. Either everybody does something at a great level and then the rest of their game is below average. I mean, it's just like it's wild. Like I'm still putting together
About like the
which,
only Malik Willis is a guy I've been really interested in, and so I did watch some Senior Bowl stuff from him, and I
he had
saw
a great
clips.
senior bowl. Had a great senior bowl.
I saw clips that was like, man, this might be the best quarterback in the draft, and then I saw clips that was like, shit, this guy might not even be top 5 quarterback in the draft. You know,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, and that's how they all
it's
are. That's not
tough,
just
man.
him. That's how they all are. So it's
That's gonna be. I can already tell it's gonna be a lot of fun to talk about.
it is, man.
We're
We're
gonna
we're
have a lot
really
of fun during the draft process this
we're
year.
really going to get into it the next couple months, and this will be a test on how good we are at scouting and how good our eyes really are.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. Because last year, the at least the top of the draft last year was pretty clear cut. Like
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your first like 3 or 4 picks, you kind of knew where.
like yeah, like Trevor Lawrence was a layup. You know,
Right. Yeah.
you knew that Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase were going to be somewhere up
Yeah.
there.
And I mean, yeah, until you got to pick 3 when it was the Mac Jones, Trey Lance debate, you didn't really have much of a debate because Zach Wilson, everybody clearly thought he was going to
The
go.
Jets made it. Yeah, the Jets made it pretty clear that he was the guy. So
Yeah,
that
so I mean,
one
so
was
you knew the
easy.
top 2 picks right off the bat, and then it got into like, well, is it Trey Lance? Is it Mac Jones? And then me and you rated Trey Lance higher
Right.
than Mac Jones. So we went on the Trey Lance train, like, yeah, like the Mac Jones, there's smoke, there's fire and all this, but we think Trey Lance is the better long-term prospect. Maybe not right away, which is still, yet to be seen because we'll know.
See.
Well, we know my love for Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I completely 180'd on that dude in the middle of the season, because I didn't think it was going to show up in the NFL like it showed up in college, and it still showed up. I mean, I don't know if he's ever going to be, a 40 touchdown guy, but he's going to be a guy you can win ball games with. But yeah, so not even to rehash all that. All I'm saying is we got a lot of really, really good content coming in the next couple months. So
yeah, it certainly doesn't stop after the Super Bowl. We're just getting
it
started.
It does not. And I know Big Jared's going to be excited to get in with it because he wasn't able to get in with us last year on it. So,
right.
So yeah, I know he's going to be really excited. And then we're not even getting into the fantasy stuff yet either. That'll come more in the summertime. And then of course after the draft where we'll do our rookie
I'm excited to put out my dynasty rookie rankings 2.0, man. Like last year was the first time I ever really put together rookie rankings, and I was pretty I mean there were some misses and stuff in there, but overall I was pretty happy with it. So I'm really excited to
name to watch, just to give you a little preview. Name to watch of a guy that I'm really high on right now that I've just kind of like deep dove into his tape over the last week. Breece Hall.
Yeah, Breece Hall's running back 1 in this class. Yeah.
So,
and then just let you know, even though people might try to tell you otherwise, Drake London is wide receiver 1 in this class, at least for me right now up to this point.
He's so good. The wide receivers in this class are fucking insane.
This might be a year where wide receiver takes 101. Like there might not be a running back at 101 between Drake London and Treylon Burks from Arkansas, and you got Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams,
even with the injury he had, like he's still going to be in the consideration. I mean that
David Bell out of Purdue.
This is a fun wide receiver class, and there's not the running backs it'll be a lot easier to tell the running backs after the NFL draft whenever you see the draft stock that gets put into these guys. because I don't think there's any clear, like Breece Hall is my favorite as well, as far as the running backs go. But, as we know, draft capital speaks pretty heavily for running backs.
It does matter, but I can
so
definitely tell you there ain't gonna be a running back draft in the first round this year. I can pretty much tell you that.
I would be shocked.
Yeah, but I will say this: guy that's risen the most for me over the last probably 3 to 4 weeks, Calvin Austin III. If out of Memphis, if you get
Memphis just pumps him out, man.
Oh my gosh, he was so good. There's literally legit. I would say 8 to 10 wide receivers that I would have a first round grade on, like that I would put in the first.
Yeah,
they're not all gonna. They're not all gonna go in the first round. You're gonna have guys that you get in the second, third rounds that are going to be first round talents at wide receiver.
Yeah, even was George Pickens from Georgia. Like, he was like all the hype. And then, I mean,
yeah, so good.
Yeah, like he could very well be a second round, third round. Like, I don't think he falls to the third, but yeah, no, this wide receiver, like the last few years of wide receivers, Jesus Christ.
Now this class, I don't think you got a guy like Jamar Chase.
There's not a Jamar Chase.
There's no Jamar Chase in this class, but there are every bit of I would legit say 8 to 10 dudes right now that I would consider taking either in the first round or early on in the second. Yeah, I'd be completely comfortable with.
Yeah. It's a very the top end talent is not the same as the Jamar Chases, the Justin Jefferson, things like that. But as far as depth goes, I mean, this is going to
be another one of those classes. Like, this is going to be kind of the same thing that we had with like the AJ Brown, DK Metcalf class, where we're going to be looking here 3-4 years down the line, and we're like, I can't believe this guy went.
How the hell did DK Metcalf fall? Yeah.
It's going to be the exact same thing. We're going to be looking back 3-4 years from now. We're like, I can't believe they drafted that guy over that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tackles in this class, if you need a tackle, the tackles are really good. The edge rushers in this class are fantastic. This is a great draft class if you need left tackle, if you need interior offensive guard. The offensive guards in this class are really good.
There's a couple of corners I like a lot in this class too.
Yeah. Like, Derek Stingley's my number one player so far. I think he's the best player in this draft.
So there's actually at least one corner that I like more. So I don't want. I don't want to. I don't want to.
I haven't jumped into corners. I've been more focused on. So initially, I always start with line. So I do edge, and I do defensive line and offensive line before anything. And then I get into more running back, wide receivers. Then I'll kind of get into linebackers. There's some really rangy linebackers in this class too. And so then usually cornerbacks, safeties are towards the tail ends, and I do quarterback.
Oh, that safety from Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's so dirty.
Yeah, check out. Whenever you start checking out corners, check out Sauce Gardner. Check out Sauce Gardner from Cincy.
Sauce Gardner? He's cold, man.
He's probably going to be. I mean,
he had a really good Senior Bowl.
We'll see. There's a couple corners at Washington that are nice too. Well, I'll have to really. I haven't really dug into it too much, but Sauce Gardner might be the.
I don't think he's better than Stingley. But.
I think he might be, man. We still got time.
I haven't really deep dove too much into him, so
I'm excited, bro.
I'm really excited. This is gonna be such a hard class to nail down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, not a good year to need a quarterback for sure.
No, that's the one position that I wouldn't be excited about.
I think this quarterback class gets a little more hate on it than what they deserve, though.
I mean,
each guy's good in their own right.
The quarterback class from last year was supposed to be all-time great, and then Trevor Lawrence looked bad, Zach Wilson looked bad, Trey Lance did.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, and look, and we talk about that all the time, that your situation matters.
Yep, but look at Matthew Stafford. This Super Bowl is a perfect example.
Pre-draft, Mac Jones was each of ours. Of the 5 quarterbacks that we had first-round grades on, he was our least favorite, and Mac Jones was the only rookie quarterback that was one of the finalists for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he was in easily the best position of the 5 quarterbacks. Like Justin Fields didn't look good, Trey Lance didn't hardly touch the field, Trevor Lawrence didn't look good, Zach Wilson didn't look good, and Mac Jones was the Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate. And it's just like coaching matters, situation matters, all that stuff matters, and that's something that post draft.
Very rare does a guy like Joe Burrow come along that can raise a franchise
right
from the depths. Like Joe Burrow's, like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady,
Andrew Luck,
Andrew Luck. Like those guys don't exist. Now Trevor Lawrence might. I mean, Trevor Lawrence got sabotaged from the moment they hired Urban Meyer.
I don't think even Andrew Luck could have overcome Urban Meyer. If you put rookie Andrew Luck into Trevor Lawrence's situation last year, I don't know if it would have been much better. Because I mean, like rookie Andrew Luck, even in Indy, had his struggles.
Oh no, he did have Chuck Pagano. So.
Right? Yeah, he had his struggles even in Indy, in his rookie year. So I'm not out on Trevor Lawrence by any means.
No, I'm definitely no. Heck no.
Peterson
that's a good hire for them.
Right. That's another thing I can't wait to get into this offseason is the episode where we break down coaching hires and stuff. We'll have an entire episode developed to just dedicated to that. So
we've completely gone off the rails here. We're giving you previews. We're so excited to bring
we say NFL off season, but there is no off season. Yeah. Like this shit don't stop.
We're so excited to bring you guys more content. So and then of course, obviously, it will include Jared, internet permitting. So
yes, definitely.
He's very angry right now, judging from the language he's using on the text message.
Yeah, the group text doesn't look good from him.
Yeah, he's hot. But luckily he got through most of the Super Bowl stuff with us there, except towards the end. But we all know he's going for the Rams. So we got Rams. Sorry, Drew. It's a clean sweep. Which I know makes you nervous.
I'm going to blame you guys if we lose.
It happens. Anything we want to touch on before we close it down?
I think we pretty much covered it.
All right. Well, hey, cheers. Congratulations. I hope you have a great Sunday. You get too bored, you get too nervous, you can just run down the street here. You're always welcome here at the house. Jared and I will both be here. And like I said, I'm ready to watch the game. I'm ready to have some fun. If that's it, then that's it. And thank you guys so much for listening, Drew. Let's go ahead and shut this down.
Yeah, it's been a fun 2021-2022 season. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, sticking through. If you guys are still here, we had a whole ass rebrand this season. So, we appreciate the support and you guys hanging out with us. We've got this is really just the beginning for us. We're still working out the kinks and figuring out what works, what doesn't. But it's pretty clear, just from the last few minutes of this episode of what we're passionate about, what we enjoy talking about. So we're certainly not going to stop doing that. So for you guys that are still with us, we appreciate it. If you haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and then comment down below and let us know how you're feeling about the stuff we talked about. To those of you that aren't Rams or Bengals fans, I hope you can sit back and just enjoy the Super Bowl, and good luck to everybody other than Bengals fans, but appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. So much. Reactions.
Yeah, Titans fans, enjoy watching another one from the couch. Y'all have a good one.